We like this man, our next guest, because he has strong opinions. And what better person to break down the schedule with those strong opinions than Jonathan Tavernari, who is back on BYUSN. JT, how are you this morning?
Strong opinions and handsome. My mom and my wife keep telling me that, and you guys gotta add that as well. So I would appreciate it.
Okay. Hey, you saw the schedule matrix. 20 games for BYU men's hoops. You know the road opponents, the home opponents, and then who BYU will face at home and road. What's the best thing that immediately jumped out to you?
That Kevin Young is going to go 20-0 in Big 12 conference.
Let's send you some goggles, baby.
Hey, let's just cool down with the fire and just say they're going to go 20-0 in conference, right? Because the excitement is kind of cooling down a little bit. No, I actually, once I got the schedule this morning, I was prepping for this. I was taking notes here, and I kind of felt like that meme with the wall full of stuff, and you're trying to explain. I will say this. I was thinking back of all of the conversations that you guys had on the show last year. I think back, Jerem, to where you keep saying, if we win 10 games on non-conference schedule, we got a chance. We got a chance. Spencer kept going, hey, I think if we win 9-10 games, we got a chance. And so it's interesting from the previous years how, because of strength of schedule, because of the analytics, how much emphasis you have to put on non-conference and then conference, and also understand Q1, Q2, and so on. I think that, my hope is that the schedule that the BYU is probably going to be somewhere in, the 21, 22 wins overall. I know that the schedule is not out yet. Jeremy, you put a tweet a while ago about the 7 non-conference schedules that they're going on right now, but we're waiting for some final numbers. But I think, Big 12, that's what we're focusing on today. I have my breakdowns here. I would love to hear from you guys, however you want me to share, but I'm hopeful that we're going to go 14-6 in the Big 12.
Whoa!
But my being realistic, I think we're going to probably be about 12-8 and 13-7.
Oh, we're talking, that's like top 4 finish out of 16 teams, JT.
12-8 would be very good. I think you're top 6. Yeah.
So here's what I have in the way that, again, be inside the honeycomb, kind of getting some things so I could prepare for this. Looking at just the home games, I don't know if you guys can break down the graph like that. Somebody in the control room, aside from me, like if just the home games, right? The ones that we don't have a home and away, but just the home games, I think we can go 4-1, right? I think that when you look at that, I think Kansas is the one that's a toss-up. With Baylor, we play toe-to-toe at home. Kansas State, we won at home. Oklahoma State, we won at home. And then Texas Tech, we were giving them the business at Texas Tech. And I think once you add all of the facts of this offseason, plus Marriott Center magic, I find it really difficult that we're not going to go a minimum of 3-2. And so
Agreed.
My hope that we'll go 4-1, right? I'm wearing my beautiful BYU navy blue. And but I think, if I take a step back and I'm probably thinking we're going to go a minimum of 3-2 at home for just the home games. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I like it. It's minimum 3-2. I think 4-1 is ambitious, but also semi-realistic, because I think you're going to beat Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. I think you beat Kansas State, and then you're going to beat one of 2, Baylor or Kansas. To me, Kansas is very improved. Baylor might be more improved than Kansas, in my opinion, based on who they pulled in the portal. But just think of those games we have. We were just talking about that. Like, how awesome is this at the Marriott Center? And we haven't even talked about the other 5, like Arizona. Those 5 games are spectacular.
No, and to your point, Jerem, I think all of this, other teams have improved, no doubt. I have a hard time and playing devil's advocate here. I have a hard time not putting BYU as one of the top 5 teams in the portal season this year, with Kevin Young, with Yegor and Elijah and Keba and Brody, and I mean, my goodness gracious, it just keeps coming and coming. And then, Chris Burgess, the new assistant coaches and everything. We were I would go as far as to say we were the hottest team in the offseason this year. The only ones that got a couple of wash bombs, that has to put, in a scale as well, right? And so to your point, looking at also the home and away, right, where we have the series, with those teams, I'm hopeful that we're probably going to go 7-3, but I think again, realistic is 6-4. Jaron, you just mentioned a point that I think it's very valid here. I think about the West Virginia game last season. I've said that before. That was probably one of the only games in the entire season that Foose was 100% healthy for. And look at the destruction, the amount of effectiveness that man had when we traveled to West Virginia. 24-9, super efficient on the shooting, dominated. And so I think health is obviously, it's one of those things that we talk about every year. But if this team is healthy, right, it is really difficult to think that we're not going to be this successful. I know that there's a chemistry thing that is going to have to get it done, which why I think at worst, we're probably going to go about an 8-3 in the non-conference schedule, right? We're probably going to add another freebies, maybe 1 or 2. We have 7, but, out of the 7, I can't imagine us losing more than 2 games. I know we have a stretch that we play. I think it's Purdue, and then I think we go to Providence.
NC State or Ole Miss, 2 of those 3 in San Diego, at Providence as well, December 3rd, that next week. Yeah, so you've highlighted the toughest games by far. So we know 8 of the 11 reported or published. Central Arkansas appears to be the opener on November 5th. Queens on November 13th. Welcome back, Bobby Hordusky. Idaho, November 16th. 2 of these 3 in San Diego, November 28th and 29th. Purdue, NC State, Ole Miss. 2 of those 3 went to the Final Four, by the way. At Providence, December 3rd in the Big 12 Big East Challenge. Florida A&M, December 20th. That could be the final non-conference game. We'll see. At Wyoming. We'll add 3 more. We don't know who they are. Hopefully they're quad 4, super winnable games. But you're right. The Purdue, NC State, Ole Miss, 2 of those 3. And Providence, those are your 3 toughest non-conference games.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you look at that, you just go and just take the whole thing that on the 3 games that are to be scheduled are going to be a win, right? That are absolutely going to be a home run. And so maybe if you drop 2 of those, maybe 3, you're sitting at 8-3. On the home and away series, and also on just the away series, I think when you put it all together, I think it's going to be another 20-win season for BYU. I personally think we're probably going to be sitting at about 22 wins come tournament time, before the Big 12 tournament in March.
Jonathan Tavernari is on BYU Sports Nation. JT, you played against big-name teams, specifically in Las Vegas on a neutral site when I believe it was, Louisville and North Carolina back-to-back? Like, those are blue blood opponents. But it's one thing to play them on a neutral site and another to have multiple of those teams in the Marriott Center. I'd give a lot just to have one team in the Marriott Center that is a top 10. BYU has the opportunity to maybe face 3 or even more. What does this mean for BYU basketball fans? Like, put this in perspective for them.
As I think about this, I think it's one of the reasons why Kevin Young made the jump, right? It's one of the reasons why Kevin Young decided to come to BYU. I think the only game that I wish we could have had at BYU that we couldn't maybe switch the schedule a bit would be Houston. But my goodness gracious, Baylor is a powerhouse. Kansas is a powerhouse. Kansas State is always fighting to go the distance. And then Texas Tech, we know how good they were. I think back to what you said about, games on neutral courts. The fact that BYU played North Carolina State last year and we kind of dismantled them. Like, it wasn't really a game. And we were able to win, and that team ended up going to the NCAA tournament. I mean, we know that Kansas was kind of having a bad year, a down year last year, but Bill Self was there along with some McDonald's All-Americans. They had some Burger Boys on the squad, so I don't want to hear about having a down year. To have that massive of a win, it's what we were talking about at the roundtable a few weeks ago, Jerem. the Marriott Center magic is real. Kevin Young often talks about when he came to the game that we played against Wake Forest. And I know, Jeremy, you were there. I like the comment, by the way, when you guys were ranked the top 5 international players and you're talking about me and you said, there goes the B-roll. And I was like, I didn't think I was that old. But that atmosphere, Jerem, maybe the Gonzaga wins with Yoli, maybe San Diego State with Jimmer the year after, but there hasn't been a ton of games of that magnitude. But what Kevin Young has built, and to your point, Spencer, playing those level of games in the Marriott Center with the rock, with the environment, with a fan of family. I kid you not, guys. I don't know if it's the spirit, but I just got goosebumps thinking about how loud it gets.
Oh, man. Seriously. The volume alone, the electricity, just from last year, having experienced that, can it go to another level this year? It feels like
yes,
it just might.
Yes, it can, because you've brought in potential NBA guys that we haven't had in a hot minute here, right? We've had NBA talent. We've had international talent for a long time. But we've not had the likes of Yegor Demin in the gym, perhaps since the days of Jimmer and Kresimir Ćosić and Danny Ainge. And I mean, we're talking about he could be one of the greatest BYU basketball players ever. He's coming in with that kind of hype. So it could go up a notch, not to mention Cannon Catchings and the rest of the boys. Dallin Hall and Richie Saunders are like, we're right here. We're the core guys. This group is going to be fun to watch, and we can't wait, man.
And you've been working out with them, JT.
Yeah, tell us how that's going. Who sticks out? What's going on?
I think what sticks out is just how hard these guys go. I think that a lot has changed in the way that you approach basketball. Back when I was doing things, I just wanted to get 1,000 shots made and a ton of repetition and so on. But what's cool about it is I'm going there and I'm saying, guys, let's do about an hour and a half tops, maybe an hour and 15, and let's just get game rhythm shots where we can go and we can do things exactly how Kevin is going to run during the season and be effective that way. The coolest thing for me is to see, guys that I'm very close with, like Trevin and Brody, and then see, Dallin and Elijah, and see all of these dudes just going at it and just sweating and just being dripped in sweat. And just the effort that they're putting in and out and time again, it is unbelievable. I'm grateful to just be able to do that, not being a part of the staff. I can kind of do whatever the heck I want. There's no limitations on that. I do find it funny that some guys are making, 6 figures in NIL, but they have to go to class to be eligible, and they can only work out with coaches for an hour a day. And so it's, God bless the NCAA, because they sure need it. But it's been great. And the commitment of them, obviously this started a while ago with Zach Salius and just communicating with him. And then, Trav came around. Trevin has been around the block for a minute. And so with Trevin, in my relationship with him, obviously I was at BYU with Kristen. And then, I've always felt that Brody and I have a very similar game, except he's taller and, he's much more athletic than I was. But, the high shooting and playing the 3 and 4, being able to catch and shoot and turn around 1-2 dribbles and bang. And so, kind of creating a relationship with him and working with him on a lot of different things to improve, sharing my expertise and experience. I feel like that's what an alumni should do. That's what the BYU network and the BYU Hoops family should be, and you see it with, Travis Hansen, being there with Yegor and Kyle Collinsworth, talking in Russian and all of these other things. And that's when I imagine when I dreamed about coming to BYU. And obviously, I had really good success, my teams and individually, and being able to kind of share that with the next generation. I feel it's a huge blessing that to be a part of that.
JT, always great to catch up with you, man. And you were the perfect guest for the schedule matrix. 14-6 would be something, brother.
I like it.
We'll keep wearing those blue goggles. Thanks, JT.
Appreciate you guys. Meu irmão, abraço.
Abraço.
Jonathan Tavernari on BYU Sports Nation.
Hey, I'll take 14-6, bro. I would.